Hey, what's going on, everybody? And thanks for joining us. We're live, and we got some Football Friday for you. We've been having some issues on Sundays here at the studio, and with this upcoming Sunday being a tundra, we wanted to keep ahead of it. We're doing another combination of Week 20 and Week 21 here, so we're reviewing a couple of a couple series of games here. So starting from the top, college football playoffs have concluded. We have a champion, a new dynasty opening up for a university that has never. This is groundbreaking for a university. Indiana, we're so, this is what makes, this is like, remember the Titans. These are some of the great football moments that you never forget. But to really build it up, I'm beyond Indiana. We're Buckeyes guys. So, of course, we're rooting the other way. But there's characters in this fairy tale story that are worth highlighting. And clearly the one that takes center stage is our Heisman Trophy winner, Mr. Mendoza. And he put a cherry on top in this championship game, punching through to the victory to the victory touchdown. This play is so noteworthy. It's cinematic in so many ways.
It's a cherry on top to a great year.
It really is. And it's so football. Boom. Like ping pong and keeping up. Victory.
And you know what's funny is you've had so many guys win a Heisman Trophy and then go on and lose a bowl game.
Yeah.
Whether it's a worthless bowl game or a national championship game. And it's been a few years since we've seen the Heisman Trophy winner, again, cherry on top end your year and go off into the sunset. It was a pretty cool thing to see.
But, dude, on top of it, this is a guy that really had to endure the elements. Everybody knows what Miami is. The University of Miami is this ragtag group of criminals and crooks and trash bin, and they love to play dirty. And so for Mendoza to transcend like the highest heights of BS, straight up assaults on the football field that are just going disregarded for the sake of Las Vegas's benefit. But it was a tragedy for Miami, and it leaves people like Michael Irving on the sidelines just swimming in their sorrows. Oof. Oh, you're not playing with the water cooler this time, are you, big dog? So I want to just kind of, like I said, cherry on top. What made this so memorable and such a beautiful football moment? I'm gonna leave it to have the clip speak for itself, but think about this. I mean, this is heavy.
I've just been off the internet. Why is no one talking about the whole stadium singing Fernando? Imagine being his mother. You've been through all that shit. Been through all of it. You've done it all for your kid, and you get to hear a whole stadium. I'm about to cry, y'all. You get to hear a whole stadium chanting your son's name. Your son that you named.
The son that you named. I mean, to drag herself through that whole journey.
Oh yeah. And
imagine sitting in a stadium of like 80 to 100,000 people singing your son's name.
Yep. Your son wanted to play at Miami as a kid.
That's why. It's right. There's a video of him at a combine saying that was where he wanted to go.
Not only that, but his dad played high school football with the Miami head coach.
Really?
Cool. Yeah. Oh, yeah, there's a photo. They've showed it, I think, in the semifinal. And I'm sure they played it at some point during the national championship game. Like, Mario Cristobal knows Fernando Mendoza's family.
Wow. And again, so tell me that isn't a movie story right there.
Oh, no, it was a very, very cool, memorable season for Indiana. And the funny part is that Indiana had never won a bowl game her entire life.
Really?
And their last bowl
not even a bowl game?
Yeah, their last bowl win before this season was, I think, 91 or 92. We weren't even alive.
Yeah, right.
We weren't even alive.
Certainly Mendoza wasn't. That's impressive. So again, what a great way to kind of close out the college football playoffs. And for one that we couldn't participate in, boy, was it an entertaining run.
And it was a good game.
Well, how about this one? And if I am going to get egotistical and boast at least a little bit, 3 championships in a row, especially once you start 100%. Opening the floodgates of the NIL. The Big Ten is back, baby.
No,
dominating.
The Big Ten is the best conference in college football.
By far.
Undoubtedly.
undoubtedly. So let's take that and transition then to the real show. Let's get to the NFL where things are getting hot and spicy. Before we get into the new developments, we're getting into our conference championships and we're setting ourselves up for the Super Bowl. But before we get into that, like I said, we've got a couple weeks we got to review. And, it's poetic. A Steelers playoff tradition like no other. Sending off a career with smiles. I mean, for some, I guess it depends on what team you're rooting for.
All right, I'm going to be honest. Whoever the Steelers, you have to have a sideline guy next year when you're in the playoffs and tell your quarterback to not sit on the bench.
Do this in the locker room.
Yeah, don't do it.
Do this in the locker room.
Literally, both of them retired then.
Yeah, that's what I mean.
I'm pretty sure both of them. Well, Rodgers.
We haven't gotten to the Rodgers retiring yet, and we know it's not because he isn't retiring. It's going to inevitably end there. It's that Mike Tomlin stole the show, and Aaron Rodgers likes the limelight, so he's going to do it on his time.
Well, plus Pittsburgh's already announced that they're not bringing back Rodgers.
Well, because it's because he's coming to the Browns. Well, here, let's get to one of Aaron Rodgers' closing interviews here. Is it one of his last closing interviews? We don't know. Is this the cherry on top to his career? Or maybe he might you never know. The Jets might call him back. But let's hear his last words here.
This league has changed a lot in my 21 years. When you hear a conversation about the Mike Tomlins of the world, Matt LaFleur's of the world, those are just two that kind of I've played for. And when I first got in the league, there wouldn't be conversation about whether those guys were on the hot seat. But the way that the league is covered now and the way that there's snap decisions and the validity given to the Twitter experts and all the experts on TV now who make it seem like they know what the hell they're talking about. To me, that's an absolute joke. And for either of those two guys to be on the hot seat is really apropos of where we're at as a society and a league. More than that, though, when you have the right guy and the culture is right, you don't think about making a change. But there's a lot of pressure that comes from the outside, and obviously that sways decisions from time to time. But it's not how I would do things and not how the league used to be.
Well, but I think he made 2 points that are contradictory to each other. That's not how the league used to be. And, maybe the owners are making rash decisions, which will be a whole development in today's show's dialogue. But you can't then also say how important a Hall of Fame coach is to the culture and having the right guy. So, okay, if they're sitting there saying then this isn't the right guy and we need to revamp our culture, then this isn't the wrong decision. It's actually it's the necessary decision, because you're acknowledging that role, the coach, is key to what's important to the team, culture, and them being the right guy. So maybe that's why the league has gotten more rash into not playing. We're out of opportunities. Sometimes when you're dealing with a Jackson, what's the guy's first name? Our coach, Hugh Jackson. At a certain point, a guy that's so bad that no one in the league would even give him a side eye ever again. They overstay their welcome because of the attitude you're projecting. Well, you shouldn't just be rash. Look at how rash the league has gotten, just firing everybody. It's got to be a perfect chemistry of locker room personalities, coach and authority, and then also it just being the right guy. Your words, not mine. So we're going to put a pin in that consideration because I don't want to get to the Bills game just yet. We're still a week behind. So there's just one last thing I want to address of the older games that we kind of missed out on in last week, and it's the Eagles game. For Will and I, we've been trying to project this season as best we can, and we've been giving the Eagles a bit more props than I think they really deserved this season because they were the returning Super Bowl champs. On paper, their roster hadn't changed at all, and they only got stronger in many ways. But then again, when you saw the season play out, you never knew what team you were getting. It was so hot and cold, no Goldilocks, only the extremes, and it showed. By the end of the season, they couldn't deliver. And here's a young Eagles fan that I truly think this is so heartwarming in many ways because we all see ourselves. This is me. If you caught me at 15 leaving a Browns game in this weather after the loss, doing the same misery walk every Browns fan does every season, I'd give you the same interview.
This was a huge letdown. This was my Christmas present, and I got a loss.
Oh, no. You probably would have rather had Cole, huh?
Yeah, probably. I'm feeling two of two things. A, I want A.J. Brown packing his bags, and I want him somewhere else that is not here. I love you, A.J., but, like, you can't make those drops in that game. And I also want Kevin Patullo flipping burgers at, like, the local McDonald's. I don't care.
Why do you say that?
This kid's a king.
Whenever he's an offensive coordinator, it's like he's flipping burgers. One side, he's cooking. One half, he's cooking. And the other half is completely raw.
And Aaron Rodgers says the Twitter experts don't know a thing.
He hasn't heard from this kid yet.
No, this kid's got opinions.
And he knows what he's talking about. Here's what's great. That clip goes viral, gets the world's attention. Kid's got momentum behind him. So the news goes and revisits him. He's becoming a local star, and rightfully so.
Are you kidding me? These have been, like, the best 24 hours of my life.
So you're huge into sports. So but is tennis, like, your main love, or is football?
Well, that depends. Playing or watching? Watching is definitely football. I love watching football. I love the Eagles. I love everyone on there except Kevin Patullo.
Why is that?
Dude, that kid.
So you
Looking
remember
at you.
last year when Saquon Barkley had like 2,000 some rushing yards? Here's the thing. That was a good offensive scheme. That was a good offensive, and he could just keep the ball churning. Now Kevin Patullo, it's like basically the exact same team, the exact same offense. It's just the fact that he hasn't really been able to run it to our strong side, like to the left. And Jalen Hurts, I'm not trying to say anything bad. I'm pretty sure it's just the play calls. I'm going to hand it over to my sister, who I love and is the best sister ever. And by the way, she has been on the news before, so she's experienced.
Oh,
Come on, say something.
Well, Sam loves football, and
what? Now this is catching. This has like kids recording videos in their basement vibes. Like this departed the news a little bit ago, and now this is just kids playing on YouTube.
I absolutely love him saying, "All right, speak, start speaking."
You're speak. My sister's been here before. My younger sister has been here before. Tell them your football thoughts.
I feel like all that football talk has finally done him something good.
That's a sister.
Other than
I got one of those.
His
She's looking
sister.
at him.
Dude,
But I love you.
his face
Because
too
you're
is
the
just like
best
you're
brother.
embarrassing me.
Yeah, dude. She's looking at him. I've been hearing you talk about this crap forever, and I'm glad it just finally did something for you. Oh, that's a sister.
He's like, I don't even know who Kevin Patullo is, and I want him gone.
And you're always supportive and kind and just the best.
You guys are so cute. So what was it like then to be there watching the game? Like, describe the moment.
It was amazing and it was sad at the same time.
Of course.
It was amazing when we were leading. It was bad when we lost.
Solid evaluation. Aaron Rodgers would pay for that.
I heard something at the game that really made me just think about my life. It's win or lose, we're the bleeping birds, baby.
Dude, he says
Dude's on the
it.
news saying bleeping.
You know he says it in his. On his
Oh,
own.
yeah. You know he goes, Mom, we're the effing birds. We're the birds, Ma. Ma.
Okay, so a lot of people are like,
ELGALES.
Birds.
Birds. Because remember the mayor couldn't
Yes,
spell
yeah.
it.
Couldn't
get
spell it
this
right.
show, get them on ESPN.
Yeah.
Like, are you into broadcasting?
Are you kidding me? I'd love to do that. That'd be amazing.
Is that a
Please
dream of
don't.
yours to be
Yeah.
sports commentator, or just?
That was probably that'd be my second or third option. Like, honestly, if I couldn't make pro tennis, then I would try and be like a sportscaster or something.
So I was going to say.
We should get him on the reaction
your-
show.
Your hopes and dreams after yesterday. AJ Brown needs to pack his bag. Kevin Patullo needs to be fired. Do you still feel that same way?
I feel the same way about Kevin Patullo. I'm not 100% on the AJ Brown thing. I love AJ Brown, but the fact that he's kind of been complaining that he hasn't gotten enough catches and not gotten enough targets, and then when we give him the targets and in the crucial situations he drops them, just makes me think, like, man, seriously?
Says it how it is.
Next for you.
Bro is calling balls and strikes. Fair.
Season's over. You're a social media star. What's next? What's next for Sam? Salvo.
After this, I'm probably gonna go play tennis, and I'm just gonna
It's going totally right.
like, my friend just made a YouTube channel for me, so I'm gonna post this clip right now onto the channel because this is literally.
Thanks for the views, man.
Guess what? CBS News gave him his first strike. Welcome to the real world, kid. All right, now let's get to the meat, right? So last week had a lot of really exciting football.
These playoffs have been great, first off.
They've been fantastic.
Outside of the San Francisco-Seattle game, they've been amazing.
Well,
games.
let's just breach that. You know what? Because the Bills game is going to be in the more dense conversation. Let's just talk about it. What was the Seahawks San Francisco 49ers game like? What was it like? Play one. The beginning of the game. This is so awesome, dude. Fan recording, just psyched to be there. Got a touchdown on video. Gets better. Sweet shot. Ooh. Humbling moments.
Look at that hat.
Look at that hat. The hat was more expensive than the tickets, and he's like, son of a.
His buddy,
I got to go back to the place that has a poop map.
dude, his buddy looked at him. He's like, "Hey, essay, what you think of the kickoff?"
I bet you wish you were in Seattle, bud.
They drove the colder weather for this.
Big woof. Oh, what does he say? They're not happy. But hey, you know what? He's got a Drake San Francisco 49ers jacket. At least he's going home in style. So that's pretty much the whole Seahawks game in a nutshell.
Yeah.
49ers were humbled.
Yeah.
But let's get to Will. I got a feeling you've got a lot to say about this one. And it's a very dense topic. It all really comes down to Bills playing the martyr for the last week, and we know it will continue.
Last 5 years.
Thank you. Correction.
Sorry, I had to say it.
Accurate. The reality is this. There is nothing you have experienced that you yourself haven't done to yourself. The Broncos handed you that win. They were the better team and deserved to walk to the next round. And they continued to bring you back to the game, back into the game. And there's one play the Bills fans are convicted in pointing at as the reason the league has stolen the victory from them. Stolen the victory. It all comes down to this one play.
I love the idea of some people being like, I wonder what the play was.
Everybody knows because they haven't stopped complaining about it. They're saying this was not an interception. And what's very frustrating about this play is all of New York, because the rest of the country knows what it is very clearly. The rest of New York loves taking a play like this and just freezing. And really, it's another angle I don't think we're going to get with this clip, but it's 180 degrees from the other side. They're showing that he has the ball and his knee is on the ground. He is down, which is just a very, very ignorant interpretation of the rules. If you understand the rules, you know that is not how this plays out. So as it continues, no control of the ball, immediately goes right into the defender's hands. This is the angle everybody's obsessed with. He's got the ball down. We're just freezing here. I mean, literally half of TikTok is selling this on a shirt. We were betrayed.
Are they really?
Oh my gosh. Yes. So swiped from his hands. So kind of going off of this, here's the Bills coach, Sean McDormand. He literally believes this was a crime.
It's hard for me to and I've had a chance to look at it. It's hard for me to understand why it was ruled the way it was ruled.
Is it that hard?
If it is ruled that way, then why wasn't it slowed down? Just to make sure that we have this right. That would have made a lot of sense to me, to make sure that we have this thing right, because that's a pivotal play in the game. We have the ball at the 20, maybe kicking a game-winning field goal right there. So I'll just leave it at that. Right. But I'm saying it because I'm standing up for Buffalo, damn it. I'm standing up for us.
John,
what went on is not how it should go down, in my estimation. That play, these guys spent 3 hours out there playing football, pouring their guts out, to not even say, hey, let's just slow this thing down. That's why I'm bothered.
down by contact?
I know the clip was a little bit quiet there, but it's a true offense that, of course, the league would rule against the Bills in calling this an interception. I'm going to flip it to Colin Cowherd. He does a great job of all the different perceptions. Boy, did I wanted to six Shannon Sharp on you. He did an episode with Chad Ochocinco and was literally screaming at an 11. How do you even think this could be a complete pass and not an interception? But I think the person that delivered it the most eloquent and the most just clear was Colin Cowherd. So we're going to flip it to him before we just truly hammer it home.
Everybody in America, I have watched every replay. I will say, I think in most instances when fans, it's rigged. If you were going to rig this thing, you'd rig it for Josh Allen and the Bills. Bo Nix in the Super Bowl's not moving a number. But I will say, I talked to a GM today, and I looked at several. Let me put it this way. Slow motion usually creates clarity. I would argue this is one of the rare instances slow motion created confusion, because slow motion makes it look like it's more of a catch by Brandon Cooks than it is. That in fast motion, when I watched it about 30 times after talking to a GM, the GM, who is no, by the way, fan of Denver, I'll just leave it at that, said, in the end, if you look at it at real speed, the ball's bouncing when he hits the ground, and that's not an official catch. So then it's whoever wins the wrestling match, and Denver won the wrestling match. I thought slow-mo, as I'm watching it in slow-mo, it actually, in hindsight, did it a disservice because it makes it look like Cooks is more in possession. That was my take anyway. They got it right.
So the slow-mo, the pausing of the frames, all that did was create more confusion. Couldn't agree more. And the cherry on top to the whole consideration, as Will was the one that brought it to my attention, Joe Burrow had a clear statement on this. He wasn't blurring the lines at all. The amount of people that don't understand what a catch is in the rule book flabbergasts me. And it's not the officials. The two plays yesterday were not difficult calls, and they got them both right. And you want to know, Will, why I know Joe Burrow is an authority on this matter? Joe Burrow is an authority on this matter because, quite literally, he's experienced it himself firsthand. Boy knows it. Get him, Denzel. Skibbity toilet. Mine. Yeah, so
That's
Joe's lived
play.
it before.
That's such a good play.
It's such a good. That's all we got is defense.
And I'm gonna only come to McDermott's defense, not in the defense that I agree with his take.
Right.
I agree with him coming out and saying, in defense of Buffalo, just in general, saying it was a bad call. I don't agree with him saying that. I just agree with him arguing it, knowing he probably knew there's a chance I get fired now. So for me, it's like, yeah, man, I'd go out there and be like, that was an absolute catch.
That is a fair point.
That's the only
Bro
defense
is
I'll give
scratching
him
for his career.
Yes, like I don't blame him for going out there and blaming the refs, and I give him kudos for not blaming Josh, who I know we're going to get into most likely. I don't know.
Oh yeah, you know what?
Josh.
How about let's just jump right into it, because Josh, as the other quarterbacks and the rest of the league evaluated this play one way, Josh Allen, he had a different interpretation. Again, poor victim. Kwai baby gone kwai.
You hate criers, dude. Pause it real quick, dude. It's if someone walks on that podium crying, you're just like, bitch.
You know what?
Deserved it.
How about this? Here's a picture only my friend Will would appreciate. You want to know why? because puberty wasn't very kind to me. And when I was playing football, you haven't met Matt Brown yet.
No, I have not.
And you're going to meet him about 100 pounds less than our giant tackle. But you know what? The guy you'll meet, like a Kemp stature and some, the message will still come through. So I played at Miami in club football. Then I also played in high school. And I want you to remember a Bill Vaughn. So we got humans that are literally, if like South Park, if there were 3 of me on my shoulders, that's them plus 100 pounds. Because again, puberty just didn't love me yet.
Puberty's a bitch, man. I'm 5'5".
Puberty's a bitch. Still don't have the hair I was hoping for. So when push comes to shove, quite literally, and they eat me, I wasn't allowed to cry. I had some pretty bad days where my physical stature to this game was humbled. Unlike Will, I didn't have the speed to find myself anywhere other than the line. And yeah, I hold a really because, dude, I wrestled in weight classes way far beyond where I should have been. Why? Because I wasn't stopping eating for anybody, let alone this sport. And that just put me in humbling situations where it wasn't easy. It tested me. And you never saw me cry. Like, I didn't cry. And I get that this isn't him crying because he broke his fibula or his tibia or his fingernail.
You said another ibula.
But he's crying because there's an emotional element here. He's given it his heart and his soul. Everything was invested in this, and it's a crushing moment. But like at the same time, do you know how many folks in America who don't get the luxury of getting bazillions of dollars to play a game? They don't get the job they want. They don't get the college degree, the acceptance to the college they wanted. At a certain point, it's rub dirt on it and move on, or the world. And this is a game. This isn't, you know what you should be crying about? The fact that our government just voted to put auto remote turn off in every car being manufactured moving forward. You should cry, not over a game that's obsessed over the satanic ball. Ball. That's all we talk about is ball. Good for you. Yeah, this was sad. Go back on your jet, hop on your yacht, and forget about us. We are literally going to lose the American grid this weekend, and people like you and Ted Cruz can hop on a plane and just go away for the weekend. You've got it pretty fine, Josh. And it's your fault. You fucked up. You're the reason we're here. And you know what? You've done enough of these now that we can finally say that. You're not a finisher, which is fine. You're a fine franchise quarterback, but you're not a finisher. That being said, let me let you finish crying.
It's extremely difficult.
I bet.
I feel like I let my teammates down tonight.
You did.
At least you didn't blame it on the rule.
Well, and let's
what I mean?
agree. Let's agree. There's something to be said about that's what makes you the stronger character, the stronger valued player in this league. This is back to what Aaron Rodgers said. Culture, the right guy. We've seen where an Odell type personality can totally ruin a locker room.
Yeah,
or even a Deshaun.
Yeah,
Bro walks in, ruins everything.
Yeah, I mean, we're there.
So it's one of those. This is the best type of character you could find in a player like that. The shame of it all, though, is proof is in the pudding. And if you can't deliver, it doesn't matter how much of a great hype man you are in the locker room. All you're saying then is your ceiling is a Jameis Winston versus an Aaron Rodgers.
Well, I mean, he's the perfect comp for Josh at this point in his career is he's Phillip Rivers, in my opinion.
That's where he's marching towards.
I would be at this point. He's Phillip Rivers. I don't know if Josh is ever going to get over the hump, going to get over the Super Bowl hump, even to play for one. I really don't know. He's not getting younger. Not to say I don't think Josh will be good next year. Josh will still be great next year. I truly will. The issue is I've seen enough of these games now, and it's cost a coach a job. And I had a bunch of Bills friends of mine reach out to me and say the Browns should look to hire Sean McDermott. So it's one of those, hey, evidently he's the issue in Buffalo as to why you can't get to the next level. He'd be an upgrade for Cleveland, obviously, but for whatever reason, Josh is nearly untouchable when it comes to that city. And I get it. He is a top 3 quarterback in the league. It's just one of those things where I kind of look at Josh and say, hey, whenever you lose these big games, you turn the ball over at least 3 times. And how many points you lose by? 3. And at least from some Buffalo fans I've talked to, they've been critical of Josh on this. Then you have the other fanatics that are saying it's a catch. And it's, guys, if that was ruled a catch on the field, you know what? It probably remains a catch. But it was ruled an interception on the field. They went to replay and it stayed as an interception. Are we going to talk about Josh's first pick? Are we going to talk about his 2 fumbles?
Yeah. But again, what's the point I made at the beginning of this segment here? The Broncos just kept giving you the opportunities.
Oh, yeah.
For them to go 3 and out, starting with the ball in overtime, and you can't deliver.
Yeah, it's
That's
like
a
you had your
U-ball.
opportunity. And not only that, you had your opportunity in a role that was made for you.
What do you mean?
Like, remember when they lost to Kansas City, I think a few years ago in overtime? It might have been 3-4 years ago now. I think it was on the Pats. It was before Pat either won his second or lost to Brady in the Super Bowl. I can't forget which year it was.
Okay.
But that game went to overtime. Josh had a great comeback to push it to overtime. Back then, the overtime rules were if the team that gets the ball goes down the field and scores a touchdown, the game's over. Kansas City did that. Buffalo fans were outraged. Buffalo was outraged, stuff like that, because their season ended and they didn't get to touch the ball again. Again, it was the rule at the time. They changed that rule then to where you get an opportunity with the ball. I'm pretty sure then Buffalo, it wasn't this game, obviously. Denver went 3-0. I think then they lost a playoff game in overtime where Buffalo got stopped and then kicked the ball to them, and then they scored a touchdown, and it ended the game. Like, they lost for their own rule that was made for them. There was some irony there. I can't recall which game, but it was after the rule was implemented. It ended up biting Buffalo in the ass end.
Yeah. So again,
Buffalo's had so many opportunities.
Yes.
Josh has failed at those opportunities a lot. Whether they want to blame it, here's the thing: they fired McDermott. I don't blame him for that loss.
Well, you know what? Love you for raising it. Let's get to it, because it's not just fans and people outside the league that are blaming McDermott. It is quite literally the owner himself that says, I know exactly who to point fingers at.
My decision to bring in a new coach was based on the results of our game in Denver. I want to take you in the locker room after that game. I looked around. First thing I noticed was our quarterback with his head down, crying. I walked over to Josh. He didn't even acknowledge I was there. First thing I said to him, I said, that was a catch. We all know what I'm talking about. He didn't acknowledge me. He just sat there sobbing. He was listless. He had given everything.
Why would you kick a man while he's down?
Yeah, dude, this dude's an ass. Why would you go in there and be like, hey, how you
go
doing?
in. I wanted to hear your thoughts on him.
Like, why would you go in there and immediately be like, Josh, he didn't even acknowledge me. Who are you? Get out, dude. Did you? Yeah, we all saw, dude. Don't.
Who let this guy in the locker room? That's the owner. I don't get.
They're like, don't talk to me right now. And it's his first statement. If he got on the podium and said, listen, we love Sean. We just haven't quite got over that hump. They're obviously not moving off of Josh. So it's one of those things where one of them, look at Baltimore with Lamar and Harbaugh. We're going to move off of one of them. Obviously, it's going to be the coach. You blame the loss on the coach. That was so bizarre. That was the bizarre take. If he had said, hey, listen, it had been a few years now. We quite haven't gotten over that hump, and we kind of want to bring in a new vision for it to see if that maybe will get us over. More political response, better way to take it. Instead, you're like, oh, we lost that game because of the coach. Disregard our quarterback's 4 turnovers. Crucial turnovers. Not even part. I think Denver had 13 points off of turnovers in that game.
Yes.
You lost by 3. Josh had 4 turnovers. I'm not the best at math, but 4 is a greater number than 3. I don't know. I'm no genius here. I'm not a GM. I'm not an owner. What would I know? I'm a Twitter expert. I shouldn't even be talking. Sorry, Aaron. My big thing is when he goes out, I thought our GM was a douche. This was ridiculous. The clip goes even longer where he has the the GM. Do you even have that clip? I don't want to get ahead of myself.
Where he gets on it goes in defense. I don't have the clip queued up because the Coleman thing is a whole other
defense of the GM. Like, oh, we think this guy's a genius.
No, wait, hold on. I didn't want to, because it's a whole.
It's weird.
This is how petty that, like, I'm so glad we're lost in the soap opera drama of the Browns administration, because if I had to take on all of this, the Bills it's too much. They had
weird.
the GM pushed for Coleman and pushed to have this player on their team. We got to draft him. I'm psyched over his 40-yard dash. And then literally the owner is coming to his defense they're going, why'd you get rid of Coleman? And you're coming to the GM's defense. And the GM said Coleman was his guy. And he goes, no. The GM, let me tell you, he is a team player. And a little inside baseball, he didn't want Coleman at all. We just he plays ball. He was a team player. And so the rest of the people in the room, like the coach, insisted we get him. He played along. And now that he has his autonomy back, he can put his foot down and say, damn it, I didn't like Coleman. And then what's so funny is that clip ends and it always cuts to him at the beginning of the season like, this is my guy. And the 40-yard dash tells me he's going to be the next great thing.
Dude, it's so weird. Them going in on Coleman, dude, the kid's like 23.
But can we agree that this is the best thing to happen to that kid? Everything, let the shaft settle from the crop and everything else. When we get to the meat of it, kid, this is the best thing that happened to you. Get out of that organization, because clearly it's like the Shador thing. You might be on the roster, but they're just tanking your opportunity at that point.
That entire segment with that owner shows the really weird, ugly side of the NFL.
Yes.
And he just worded it
it's just rich dopes that ruin the actual competition.
Like, I'm not going to sit here and say Sean McDermott's a bad coach. That's essentially what that guy did.
Yeah.
He just went up there and was like, yeah, we failed to get to the Super Bowl because our coach sucks.
Yeah. And there was another clip I could have pulled for it where he goes, let me say a number for you. And I'm going to get it out of order and everything. But he's like, I'm going to say a series of numbers. 5, 2, 2, 3, 2, 6. It's like the last 6, 7, or I think it was 8. The last 8 years, those were our seedings in the playoffs. We are a good organization. It's like, yeah, well, who do you think did that for you? The guy you just spit in the face of.
And not only that, too. Who did you guys lose to in the playoffs? Oh, Andy Reid and Patrick Mahomes, a Hall of Fame coach and a future Hall of Fame quarterback. It's not like you're losing to bad teams. Even Denver, not a bad team. They were the number 1 seed.
Well, let's be real. If Bo Nix wasn't popping champagne in the locker room and busting his ankle, that's my conspiracy theory, alleged, not reported ever. If he wasn't doing that, they would have walked right to the Super Bowl. I thought the Broncos were the team. So for you to be in the overtime with a team that, again, they're hurting themselves, keeping you in the competition. Just stupid turnovers, penalties that are hurting themselves, 3 and outs when it's crucial. They kept bringing you back into the game. And this was, I think, the team that would have walked to the big silver trophy. So last play from this game that I want to at least pull from, we flushed out the Bills. They could pound salt. It's crazy to hear what happened to Bo Nix. And, my heart bleeds for that situation. It's absolutely absurd.
It's one of the worst things that you could have heard in a long time coming out of the playoffs.
Quite literally.
Like, I can't imagine something more devastating. And I know you had your conspiracy theory thing, but I do think I know the play it happened on. Because when he takes a knee, then the play after, he's limping. Like, he's not walking.
No, I agree. That was more.
And the funny part is when they ran that running play to the left the play before, like a direct quarterback run. I remember the person I was watching it with, I was like, why would you run that? Like, the chance of him getting hurt, give it to a running back.
Right.
It is weird. That
Well, I don't think that was the play he hurt himself on. I think it was actually the knee, because you and I had talked about this last Sunday when we were trying to do the live show. The thing that I saw was a Bills player literally grab his ankle and alligator roll on a knee.
Yeah.
Like, how ghetto and trashy do you have to be to do? It's a knee. So I do think it probably did happen during the play. That was more for jest than anything. But as far as closing out the game, we flushed out all the other angles to this whole thing. There's one last person I really would like to kind of get a little bit of a punch down on. Tony Romo. Even when Patrick Mahomes isn't playing, he still can't get his weenie out of his mouth.
Go ahead and watch. Mahomes right here. He's going to go ahead and get back and look, and he knows it's Matt.
It's like Tony Romo doesn't know what to do with himself in a postseason where Patrick Mahomes isn't playing.
I literally cannot stand some of these announcers. Him and Collinsworth.
Oh,
they're on his
gotten
payroll.
Bad. What's funny is Tony Romo, when he first started, it was like, oh my God, this guy might actually be one of the greatest announcers of all time. And then they grabbed him and was like, stop. You're predicting every play, and it's pulling the wool, or it's pulling back the curtain on the Harlem Globetrotters show that we're trying to put on here. So, last little bit here before we get into the closing out of today's show. It just wouldn't be appropriate if we didn't get a little bit of a Browns in here. So I got some Browns stuff for us.
Can't be a show without the Browns.
The Bengals have concluded their season as well, and Jamar Chase made his passing comment that I'm going to be going to Cancun, like everybody keeps throwing in my face. The internet keeps laughing at my expense. I'm going to Cancun. Well, now that Jamar Chase is on his couch watching football like the rest of us, he's been having his fun as well. And the one last kind of noteworthy thing I wanted to bring in here is he was featured on a stream with Will's favorite, the burnt peanut.
Browns better than the Bengals, by the way. Dude, I'm getting word over here. Is it Cleveland Browns better than the Bengals? Is that true or no? I remember I played Madden 2007 when I was a kid, and the Browns suck.
I mean, we tied 1-up with the series, so
is that a good? Do I congratulate you, or do I give you my condolences?
They're trying to clip me, bro. They're trying to clip me.
Is it good, or do I give you my condolences?
With the BS. They know I got no filter. They're trying to clip me with the BS and Cleveland Browns. They know I want Cleveland a little bit, so they, I went viral for calling them the elves and shit. So they trying to get a clip off me.
Don't worry, I'll handle this one. Browns suck. They can eat my shit. They're terrible. Don't you worry. I'll take the front lines on this one.
Appreciate that one.
Mm-hmm. Anytime, my man.
Can't wait to see this.
Anytime, my man. Anytime, my man.
The bungulator himself.
So let's get to one thing I do want to mention. Will sent me this right before the show. There's a whole.
Actually, let me pose one question to you.
Yeah.
Before we get off the Bills and into the Browns.
Please,
one last thing. Do you think this entire, not just the game itself, but then like the ensuing week after with the owner and all that, do you think this will be an unraveling situation like the fumble, not fumble Browns Chiefs play in the playoffs from years ago?
What do you mean?
Remember in our Chiefs game against our playoff game against the Chiefs when we had the fumble?
Well, it was a touchdown that they
ruled. They ruled differently, correct?
Right.
Do you think that this interception, then with the owner's comments afterwards, will kind of be a weird semi Super Bowl ending unraveling?
I think Bills fans will forever see that as a catch that was stolen from them.
Right.
So, I'm not even talking about the play you're talking about, because the ball was stopped. It wasn't like there was a fumble. They stopped them from getting over the goal line. It was a half a yard from a touchdown, but it was a helmet to helmet that in any other world, the referee would have called. And so I want to talk about the fumble. Like if you were to Google Browns, the fumble, this is before the 20th century.
Yeah.
And you're in an old Browns, Our dads still talk about that.
Yep, the Denver
I think
game.
that's what this will be.
Yeah, the Denver game. Yeah.
So I agree, but
you get what I mean? Like, kind of like the idea of like what I'm getting at is just, do you think the Bills are going to be quite as successful now post this entire situation, or do you think it'll just be another cog in the machine? And then
let's agree that play isn't dictating. So if we had a strong GM and an ability to draft, draft smart, that wouldn't be a pinnacle moment. It's a pinnacle moment because we suck at building a team and we lost the administrative players that are good at that, right? So when you lose John Dorsey, it isn't that play I don't look at that play going, that's the moment we lost it. I look at it as when you fired John Dorsey, when you traded Baker away, or really when you pissed in the face of Baker and made him leave or made him have pride in himself and remove himself from the team.
And then the Deshaun thing.
And then the Deshaun thing. You know what I mean? It's like that play is moot if you come back good. Like so I don't think it's the play. And I do think the Bills are a good enough organization. Josh Allen will fill the void. That is a franchise quarterback. Yeah. So what happens next year? That's the question. Like James Cook isn't going to hold the fort up forever. But if you've got some magic rabbit in the hat and you pull the next Nick Chubb, like that play is forever forgotten. So I don't think that play is a turning point as much as a timeline marker.
I guess that would be a better way to describe it. It's timeline marker. So
like, if it gets shitty after this, they're going to go, just remember that was peak Bills.
You're right. Yeah. I guess that's what I was getting at. I guess maybe I didn't word it correctly. And I think you kind of hit it nail on the head by saying a timeline marker. I just kind of wanted to pose that question because from how I've just seen like the reaction afterwards, I was like, man, I'm really getting like that one Browns play out of this. But you are right. There was like a culmination. I guess it was like the needle in the haystack, or like what would be the better, I guess, way to compare it?
Lightning in a bottle is what you're saying.
Yeah, like pushing over the marbles, like kind of.
But here's the thing: it's lightning in the bottle when it isn't a thunderstorm of lightning. Like the Chiefs aren't going to look back at this season and go, this was the season when we lost it, because it wasn't catching lightning in a bottle. It was 3-4 seasons of thunderstorms nonstop, lightning every day. So to me, it's one of those, I look at the Bills situation and it's lightning in the bottle if you don't catch moments of grace again.
Yeah.
But so I don't look at this as a defining marker. It could at best be, like we said, something that you mark as like, this is a timeline moment where it's like, remember when we lost to the Bills or the Broncos in overtime and we never got better.
Because I guess to go off your point too, is I think the owner's comments post game are more detrimental than the catch.
I would agree.
The catch is just and
the firing of the coach. It's really just like you took the wheels off the cart.
Well, it just seems so. And again, it's like when I think of Harbaugh and Tomlin getting fired, and it kind of goes against what Rodgers said. Hey, listen, I get it. It's hard to fire or move off of a Hall of Fame coach. But sometimes, hey, man, we've been doing this for years and we're not getting the results we want. We kind of want to see if we can move off of them. I think Baltimore and Pittsburgh handled the situation better than the owner of the team going on stage and saying, yeah, it's all his fault.
Right.
It's this dude's fault.
No, I agree entirely. So with that being said, there's all these different considerations with the coaches changing. The Bills got rid of their coach. The Harbaugh left Baltimore. Tomlin left the Steelers. Thank God the Browns kicked the can with Stefanski. And some of them are still on the hunt. I don't know if Tomlin might just retire.
I think there's been rumors he's going to just call it a career.
Would you blame him?
No, absolutely not.
And a Steeler. Start a Steeler and a Steeler.
To go and start over somewhere else. You're already a Hall of Fame. All you could do is go somewhere else and not be good.
Yep.
Boom. You've proven you haven't had a losing season. I'd want to keep that intact.
Hell yeah.
Why? I'm gonna go coach the Cardinals and you went 6-10. There goes that streak. And now the fans hate me because they always think I have a winning season.
Well, and it goes to a comment Aaron Rodgers made. It's a theme to our whole conversation we just had about the Bills, and it speaks to what the Steelers organization is, which is Tomlin might be one of the greatest coaches of all time. He also might be a talented coach that worked for one of the greatest organizations of all time.
Right.
And so when Aaron Rodgers looks at you and goes, it's a culture, it's having the right guy. It's kind of this lightning in the bottle, creating the perfect chemistry, chemical balance. Some organizations are better at doing that than others. And Will, you nailed it with, I think he knows how good that organization truly is versus how much it was him. I mean, it's not to say it wasn't him at all. It definitely was. But I think he knows deep down the impact the organization as a whole has. And to find, like, you're not going to be the coach of the Packers. No. So you're not going to find a long, true blood, solid organization that's been here the dawn of time and can deliver the way the Steelers do. And then now you're ending like a Belichick.
Right.
You don't have some hot, actually, I take it back. You do have a little hot toddy that you're getting in trouble with, because I think they're just as he was leaving out the door. So there was a little white girl that was like, hey, and he's done a good job to pay to hide that whole situation. But
hey, Michigan coach should have took some notes.
Yeah, some would say.
But I agree with you.
Hey, Doug was able to make even a little bit of an entrance in today's episode. The Browns need Tomlin. Well, guess what, Doug? I'm glad we didn't miss out on your great, poignant Browns football, or just really general football knowledge.
Hey, the Browns need Tomlin.
Yeah.
He's not that dumb.
He's not.
If there's one thing I'll say about, and because I agree with your points made before then too, I think he's smart enough to know, hey, I had a really great run with a great organization. There's not many others like this. I'm going to go coach the Cardinals. Right. Or coach the Dolphins. Well, the Dolphins already fired a coach. Another vacancy already filled. Brown's still looking. But, just to try and start over somewhere else, you don't even see any rumors of him taking – the Bills have a head coaching vacancy. Phillip Rivers just interviewed for the coach today. You're not hearing about Tomlin taking an interview. I don't think he's really looking.
No, he's not.
I think he's quietly said, I think maybe he just wants to take a year or two off, get like a broadcasting deal or something. I don't know.
He'd be
maybe
good
he wants
with that.
To try it again in a year or two. But for right now, yeah, maybe he's burnt out. Maybe he just kind of wants to take a break. And I don't blame him.
Right.
I think he's 53. It's like, dude, at 53, you get to retire Hall of Fame coach. And any broadcasting company would love to have you.
And to get to Doug's point, why wouldn't he want to come to the Browns when Will sends me? Think about this, folks. We're talking about the Browns organization. It has been reported that this is the standard at which the Browns are approaching their coach search. The Browns are reportedly a data-driven operation and are requiring head coaching candidates to complete questionnaires, a multi-part essay, a personality test, and additional homework. I think we're going to have nobody running the Browns come next season.
Imagine interviewing for the head coach of the Browns, right? Us. And they give you homework.
Yeah. And they're like, we're really going to scrutinize this fight here. I don't want it that bad.
I've never hated a GM more. I guess I could say we have the second worst GM maybe to the Bills.
We're competing.
Who would have thought?
Who would have thought this is where we compete best? So,
dude, I think at the end of that tweet, didn't they say like Mike McDaniels, the guy who took an offensive coordinator job instead of our head coaching position, was like,
he went to Yale or Harvard, and he's like, nah, I'm good at tests. I don't want to be good at that one.
He intentionally fails it. Now that's a smart guy. That's who I would hire. I'd be like, whichever one comes on here and intentionally fails it, hire him. Hire this one. He gets it.
That is Brown's logic, by the way. That's been running our organization for 30 years. So kind of transitioning from that, of course, our Stinky Stefanski has gotten picked up by the Falcons. And in lieu of that, dude, would it be a Rethink Tank channel show if I didn't bring in just a little bit of conspiracy theory. Let me introduce you to the Shador files.
Dude.
Out real quick. The kid who managed to get Shadur's number to prank call him during the 2025 NFL draft. His father worked for what team? The 4 people who drove to Cleveland to rob Shadur's home. Where did they drive from? And what team just hired Kevin Stefanski after he mistreated Shadur? After firing a black coach with a better record than Stefanski over the last 2 years. Yep. I'm not saying anything. I'm just noticing things. You see, patterns usually mean something. However, just like the Sanders
He's got a watch on.
we're going to be decent and send a congratulations to Stefanski for failing up. Oh, and shout out to Dylan Gabriel. We're sure you have a lot of first-team reps coming your way in Atlanta, because that many patterns don't happen by accident.
I need to see Dylan get traded to the Falcons now.
Oh,
I need to, because then we have to make that a recurring thing, the Shador files.
The Shador files.
The entirety of the rest of his duration here.
I do have to say, though, it is funny. We've gotten to this point, and I have to acknowledge the entire season, my conspiracy theory was that there was no way Stefanski wasn't going to be the head coach of the Giants. And I was wrong. I got it. Look, unlike CNN, let me admit that, bold face. He ended in Atlanta. But I didn't know the Shador files existed at that time.
Well, hey, you want to know what happened? I guess the 2-time coach of the year wasn't as good as a candidate as future Hall of Fame coach John Harbaugh.
Tough crowd. All right, so let's start closing out the episode here. We're going to get into our predictions. For once, man, when we go through this segment normally takes easily 15, 20 minutes. It's nice. 2 games. That's all we're talking about. What do we have coming up this week? The big conference championships. I'm really excited for these, honestly.
Who really would have thought, though, at the beginning of the year? Bills, Ravens,
hold on.
Chiefs.
I want to put a pin in that. I really do think we were on the Rams Seahawks. That to me, if you were to catch, at least for my position this year, if you were to catch our attitude, the closing of every week, these are the 2 teams I would have predicted being here.
Well, I just mentioned the AFC teams.
But yeah, I'm going to say the Patriots and the Broncos. I thought the Broncos,
maybe.
Every time I brought them up, you doubted me. And the Patriots truly shocked us.
Well, now I'm really doubting the Broncos.
Yeah. Yeah, boy, do they have for a team that was going to walk into the Super Bowl, and I truly thought would have steamrolled that game too. Rug has been totally pulled from under them.
Really is a heartbreaking thing. Like it truly is. Josh was crying after the game, and if I'm surprised Bo Nix kept it together so well.
Well, you know what?
Sean
we haven't
Payton
seen him yet.
After the game was, hey, he's done.
We haven't seen him. No,
because
he had surgery right away. I think it was this week. So we really haven't heard from Bo, and probably because he's weeping like Josh too, as he should. That he should get behind.
As for him, I kind of get behind it, dude.
Rewind the clock to 30 minutes ago when I went on my injury crybaby rant, or just not injury, just crybaby rant. This is a delineation. Bo Nix deserves to cry. Literal physical injury, but on top of it, the emotional element of this is it, the pinnacle, and not everybody gets this chance.
You get the biggest win of your career and your season's done, and it happened in the last minute of the game.
Insane.
It's really. I agree with you. He hasn't really. I think he posted one thing on Instagram. I think that was it.
So let me ask you this: safe to say it's the Patriots?
Well, it's the Patriots' game to lose. That's the best way. That's the best narrative for this game. It's your game to lose. If you lose this game, I don't want to hear nothing about refs. I don't want to hear nothing about anything. You shouldn't lose this game if you're the Patriots. You have the potential NFL MVP. Literally, you have the 2 potential MVPs playing this week with Stafford on the Rams and May on the Patriots. If the Patriots lose this game, it's 100% on them. You're playing Jarrett Stidham, who hasn't – I don't think he's playing a game this year.
I do want to make a quick address to Doug's prediction down here.
Oh,
He's
yeah.
saying it's going to be the Pats, the Seahawks Super Bowl, just same as 2015. Did you know, and put your conspiracy hat on because it's all the Harlem Globetrotters and it's all fake and it's all a play. It's not real at all. Did you know, and I should have included this for today's episode, like the meme image of it, every year, the last 3 times, every year there's a new pope, the Seahawks win the Super Bowl.
That's kind of cool.
So this
cool.
is actually the Seahawks Super Bowl to lose. So I'm only addressing that because I think Doug's on it. I think you're going to see the Seahawks and the Patriots, and the Seahawks are going to win because the Pope is from Chicago.
And here's the funny thing is I agree with your sentiment that I do, even without the Pope thing. I did view it as this is now the Seahawks Super Bowl to lose.
100%.
I have them over the Rams, and I have the Patriots obviously over the Broncos.
Yes.
I just, if the Broncos win, boy, New England's going to feel weird. I don't know what that city's going to do. And again, their argument will be, well, it's Drake May's second year. It's Mike Vrabel's first year as a head coach. You are playing the backup quarterback who hasn't thrown a ball over all year.
Right?
He hasn't thrown a ball over all year. This isn't a Nick Foles situation either. It's not like Nick Foles who had been a starter. It's like, Jared Stidham, I can't even think of a game he started.
Well, the last thing I want to address in this whole consideration for this week is, can we just have a little short, brief dialogue on how Drake May has dominated this season?
Oh, he's had a great year. He really has had a great year.
Because, you know, something I'd like to maybe incorporate more into this season's finale compared to last year's is going back to a lot of our old episodes and pulling some of our early predictions, what was wrong, what we got right. Drake May got none of our attention.
No.
And every year, every week, he kept proving. This was back to what you and I were talking about before the show started. I had made the comment that I wanted Will to acknowledge, as he did with these. Baker Mayfield versus Shedeur had 2 completely different experiences in our team, and I believe it benefited Shedeur that he didn't have the Baker treatment. What do I mean by that? When Baker got picked and brought onto the Browns, they rolled out the red carpet. We had Hard Knocks on HBO. Odell Beckham bought him an RV, and the second and third string were competing for their spot, but it was clear Baker had the spot. He was the guy, and they rolled out the red carpet for him. You're number one. Shedeur didn't have that at all. And I think for his personality, it worked out perfect. It only entrenched him further into his humble and just modest personality, and it strengthened him. So I think it played in his benefit, but it's an acknowledgement of how very different their experiences were in the same organization under the same coach. When I look at Drake May, we didn't give him any of those props. I think the Patriots fans did with their hope, and I do know their coach had full confidence. But for the rest of the league, guys like us, weekly commentary, we certainly didn't expect we'd be here, where I'm looking at a future dynasty, in my opinion.
Well, you're looking at, it's funny enough, it sucks Bo Nix isn't playing because you have Bo and Drake, both second-year guys in an AFC championship game. It's unfortunate Bo's not there. But again, you have 2 young guys who weren't drafted first. So they were first-round picks, don't get me wrong. And Bo had a better first year. I think that it's just a bit more stability there. And he had Sean Payton. Drake had, I think it was Jared Mayo, and in his first year as head coach. After that, they fired him. They bring in Vrabel. They had a weak schedule. I understand people always say weak schedule. I don't care. You got to win the game still. You still got to go out there and win the football game. The Browns have a weak schedule every year because we always finish 4th place, and we still somehow lose more games the next year. So I'm not going to use that argument against the Patriots. The kid went out there. He's had a great year. He's had a fantastic year. I am excited. It's interesting to see the Patriots be good without Tom Brady. It's weird. I can't think of, because the Patriots were never good before Tom Brady. So it's one of those like, oh my God, you guys have a quarterback that, like you said, whether it's a potential for a possible dynasty, we don't know. Remains to be seen. But what
let's be clear. When I say that, I don't mean at all a Tom Brady dynasty.
Well, no.
What I mean is being a force to be reckoned with for a long time.
Oh, yeah, no. You're a good young quarterback in a division. You beat in your second year, you won the division that was Josh Allen's division for over half a decade now.
So let me ask you this, Will, closing the whole thing out. Is it a studio consensus? Are we agreeing with Will or with Doug? Because I really don't think the Rams will be an easy victory for the Seahawks like they experienced against the 49ers, even though everybody thought the 49ers were also like a severe competitor for the Super Bowl. I don't think it'll be as easy as the last game, but I think I'm going with Doug's pick. I think it's going to be the Pats and the Seahawks. And it's one of those, it won't be easy for the Seahawks to take, but I do think they're the better team right now.
I agree with Doug's take and your take. I think it'll be Pats Seahawks. I think the Pats should be I think the Pats should definitely be a win. They shouldn't lose this game. The Rams Seahawks, here's all I'm going to say. I don't know who's going to win. I'm not betting on that game. I'm not betting a damn dollar on that game. Like outside of in terms of I'll maybe do a prop bet or something, but I'm not betting on who I think is going to win that game because I think that could be a coin toss win.
That's
whoever wins that game. It could be either team. It wouldn't surprise me either way.
No, that's a great point. It's a great point. So let's close out today's episode. As we do, Will and I got to pay our lumps. And good Dougie, I'm glad he's listening. Don't forget it, Dougie. You're gonna owe us on the next one. You didn't miss your lumps. So I actually won this week. I was the only one that won this week, but I owe us one from last week. I didn't pay my dues. So what we do here on the show is we do our parlay picks of the week because we wanted to make you money. And our incentive to deliver on that is if ours do not win, me, Doug, Will, we all pick one. If ours don't, we have to chug an ice on the next week's episode. I owe us one from last week. Will and Doug owe us one this week. So Doug, you got us an IOU for next week. But it always does.
Dude, I eat
Yeah, a belly full of Chipotle and now in ice.
I forgot about it when I ordered it too.
The worst is sitting in an evening, just this sits in your gut. It's because we care about delivering victories for you.
I'm crying.
Yeah, me too. I feel warm on a wintry tundra evening like this.
Yeah, tell them the wind chill.
Dude, my ears were for cheeks.
Yeah, actually do that real quick. Tell them about your trip downtown real quick.
No, you'll have to tune into our podcast. We're going to have a Protect Our Narcs episode coming out this Friday. So, hey, Doug, if you want to make it to the studio, Will and I are going to be recording a podcast, like an actual podcast. We haven't had the fun of the podcast in a while, but it's just guys bulling around like Shane and Joe. Protect our narcs. So how do we get you money? Let's check out this week's parlay pick of the week. This is the one that I think is actually going to deliver for us.
I love it.
This is just me and Will. Doug, you bitched last time, so Will and I are going to fall on the sword. All three of these picks are mine and Will's. If it doesn't hit, the two of us are drinking next week with Doug.
We picked athletes this week.
It's straight up athletes. What's the theme? If you could pick up on it, we're going for quarterback rushing yards. That's been doing true and on, like that's been delivering, except for Matt Stafford. Don't ever go for rushing yards with Matt Stafford. But delivering for us the postseason has been quarterback rushing yards. And so that's the theme of this week. We're going 5+ rushing yards. Sam Darnold, 10+ rushing yards. Jarrett Stidham, man, can you believe this? Guys off the bench and fighting for the Super Bowl. This is the Eagles in 2017 all over again. And then finally, the big delivery, 25+ rushing yards, Drake May. Don't be surprised. He's pretty good at delivering on that. So
you know what's funny is he and I had the hardest time deciding. And just because you would think it'd be easier with less, games to bet from. You think it'd be easier to kind of pick props. We couldn't make heads or tails on what to pick. And you picked a quarterback rushing yard right away. And I was like, you know what? They're all running.
How do you miss Stidham? They don't have anything else going on the Broncos. You're going to have to run. This is new. We're fixed. We're running. We're doing it on the fly.
You go to
I
draft,
think he's running.
You go
and
to
then
draft.
Will made me. I was still like teetering. Drake May will do well getting yards, but 25 is a lot.
Well, his average was like 28.
Yeah.
I'm like, so okay, the kid's running. The kid's moving. You know, like you look at Matt Stafford, like bring up his average on DraftKings, 0. The same amount of hours Johnny Manziel spent reading a book. You know, and then you have Jared Stidham, all of his are 0s. But I'm like, dude, this kid's gonna be running for his life all game.
Yes, quite literally.
He's probably gonna pick up a few yards here and there.
Easily. And I don't think he's going to be taking any knees at the end of the game.
Funny enough, I'm most worried about Darnold.
Yes.
I don't know why I'm the most worried about Darnold.
But I got to say, that game is going to be such a dogfight. Sam's going to be moving.
That's the toughest game to bet on this week, in my opinion.
Yes.
I think that's the toughest game to bet on. Yeah, man.
But the
really,
nice thing is you're looking at 2 offense-heavy teams versus 2 defense-heavy teams.
Right.
So you're going to see the ball move. You're going to see points hit. It's just – here's the one thing I've noticed in the postseason. The big wide receivers that are the names that should be getting the most yards, they ain't it. It's usually the wide receiver 2 or the wide receiver 3 that are getting the most reps right now.
Yeah, because Puka's only had a good game, really, in the first round. The wild card. Oh, my God, this ice.
Yeah, well, it's going to catch up to you. We got a long night, Wilbur. We got a lot more to go. So, with everything considered, we appreciate you joining us. We're here on a Friday, but it's a Sunday football review. We'll be back next Sunday prepping for the Super Bowl. And then we'll have our Super Bowl Sunday episode too. I also want to plant the seed now because I'm sure everybody's reaching for your attention. Nobody's going to be watching Mr. Bad Bunny. Nobody's watching Debate Bunny.
Oh my God. Wait, dude. Since you mentioned Bad Bunny, this is on topic with the Super Bowl performance. Apparently, he's wearing a dress.
Okay, guys. So I'm going to go double down on what I was going to say. Everybody is going to be making their own Super Bowl show halftime for you to go watch them. I want to acknowledge that the philosophy of the Rethink Tank has always been here. We've always been calling for you to unplug from the biggest mass broadcast in human existence, which is there's no broadcast that has more live ears and eyeballs at one given time on this planet than the Super Bowl and the Super Bowl halftime more than anything. So I implore you, whatever you watch, unplug from the Super Bowl halftime, even when it isn't a poopy Bad Bunny in the future. Just don't watch the halftime. If you need to, because you miss out on the FOMO, watch it the next day on YouTube or something. Remove yourself from the live broadcast because that's where they capitalize on the vibrations and frequencies. I know that sounds crazy, but with that consideration, we have one hell of a Super Bowl halftime lined up for you. I'm really excited. So we're going to have a Super Bowl Sunday football review finale show, and then catch us live here for the Super Bowl halftime, because we're going to deliver way better than any good or bad Bunny could ever do. So with that consideration, if we made you laugh, we made you think, if you enjoyed today's episode, be sure to like, hit the subscribe and notification bell, because we got so much coming your way. You don't want to miss it all. This Sunday, we got our reaction show, and these ones are the best. Just kids being hilarious. Those are the best clips. So get a little break from the chaos and the social, political nonsense, and join us for a cup of coffee on a Sunday morning and have some laughs. So with all the different shows and all the different and channels we got coming at you, we got a podcast coming out soon this week. You can find it all in one central place, and that's at our website at www.rethinktakepodcast.com. So again, we appreciate you joining us. If you like today's episode, share it, because that helps us out. The best thing you can do to support what we're doing is share this episode. If you liked it, then someone else you know will too. So please assist us. But otherwise, we're going to fill our gullet full of sugar again next week. Catch you next time. Peace.